Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for July 7th, 11th through 15th, 2022. Well, we continue to have increasingly activating energies, and we're feeling this intensifying as we're heading into the Capricorn full moon that happens on Wednesday, Thursday. Look out for, we've got a full moon activation at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. So I hope you can join us for that Capricorn full moon activation. Very powerful energies to take advantage of here. Let's talk it through. This Capricorn full moon happens at 21 degrees Capricorn, 21 minutes. 21 is a very powerful number of collaboration and amplification and accessing and using creation energy. So 1 and 2 is like the beginning of all sequences of life, right? Like one cell splits into two. And then when you add up the 1 and the 2, you get 3. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's do something. And it's speaking to coming together and creating more than the parts. So, but with the full moon in Capricorn, we're looking at restrictions and limitations around where we have been able to access and express this creation energy. It's coming back into our world, but it's creating a very different effect from what you would think. A lot of people feeling kind of immobilized with feelings of not knowing exactly how to move forward. And, you know, we're all going through this ego death process. We've got the sun and Mercury now in Cancer. And so we are feeling so much, and the waters are moving, and we've got this, Jupiter having moved into Aries, an activation. Now we're feeling the Aries activation and the fire activation really strongly because we're just coming off of the sun in square to Chiron, the sun in Cancer. Now this is the other dynamic thing that's happening right now, is that the Mercury is in Cancer and catching up to the sun. Now when Mercury and the sun come together, it's kind of a council meeting, and it has to do with our perspective and our identity. Who do we think we are, and what in the heck are we doing? And so it has to do with the journey that Mercury took in its last retrograde from Gemini back into Taurus, back into Gemini, now in Cancer, coming up with the sun. And the sun seems to, in Cancer, there's this energy of the mother and connection to nurturing and feeling safe and at home. And so Mercury is reporting back. And in a way, it's kind of this wobbling thing we're in that reminds me of these early signs of the zodiac, which have to do with coming into our differentiating into our own person in the developmental stages of growth as a human. So we're back and forth between the old situations that give us a level of comfort, even though they're not really serving our expansion, and then expanding into new territory, which feels terrifying. And so we're dancing between these things. Now, the reason why there's such this big swing of energy has to do with the picture that's been coming forward. We've been talking about a timeline alignment, and the new divine timeline we're trying to land home and get on and stabilize and all that. It's just very far away from where we've been. And so there's this energy of zigzag, or like the string, if you say the plucking of the strings, and they're trying to come into resonance together. And so the string is out here, and then it comes back, and it's like, can you leap on at that right moment? Can you give yourself permission to set yourself free? Because this is the energy we're dealing with right here. Chiron in Aries is the wounds of where we've had to give up our freedom and our life force and our energy and our path and our purpose in order to survive. And this activation right now is like, it's enough. I'm not going to do it anymore. And this is exactly what we need, right? Because we know that we've also gotten the message that source, the father energy that emits just this picture of the energy and light of the world shining on us. And this source energy saying, you were not bestowed with this incredible gift of being an advanced soul in this incredible human body with so much potential, and the two together, and to come into this higher potential for humanity. You are not bestowed with these gifts to leak them out and waste them on those that are refusing to grow and change around you. And this is huge because we've got Chiron at Aries. Now, Chiron is the deepest wound, representing our deepest wounds, and Chiron, where we've had to give up our life force, but also freedom. Aries wants freedom more than anything. And so there's, with the Capricorn full moon, it's about, collaboration and grabbing a hold of this creation energy and doing something with it, beginning to build. But we can't do that in the old structures where we have loyalties to energies that are not in alignment with this timeline. As long as we have loyalties to energies that are not in alignment with the timeline we're trying to land on, we're stuck in between and we're going back and forth. And it's so difficult. But the cool thing about this astrology, it's intense, it's activating, it's increasing, but it's about clarity. You know, when the sun and Mercury come together, now they come together on the 17th. And so that's just a half a week or so after, a few days after this full moon. Then a week after this full moon is when the sun makes its exact opposition to Pluto. And so all of this Pluto activation with the Capricorn full moon and the sun coming into opposition is bringing up the energies of Pluto and Capricorn, which is around breaking down the structures of our life that are no longer serving. And so much because we're dealing with Cancer and home and our fundamental sense of security and love and family. What's coming up is the relationships that have been about holding us back. They don't maybe know they're doing it, or it's not a conscious thing, but there's programming over lifetimes, supernova souls, when you've been surrounded by karmic relationships that have the energies working through them, and the agendas are about continuing to gradually and gently invalidate you and take your picture and your vision of the world and what's possible and say, no, it's not. And no, you can't. And, you know, you got to do it our way. And whittling away at your truth as a supernova soul of the vision that you carry of what's possible in this world. And when you are interacting day to day with that energy that is negating of your vision, you know, it's like, if you're not with me, you're against me. And the power that's surging up to be grabbed a hold of right now is so beautiful, so intense. It feels so good to finally move. But it's that feeling of fear of letting go of all that we've known as security. The Cancer Capricorn axis is always going to bring up these energies of what we've had to give up in order to get what we need. And this Chiron energy is like incredibly activated, where just like breaking out of the chains, breaking out of whatever has kept you playing small. It might be fear programming. It might be contractual relationships. It might be ancestral contracts, belief systems programming. It's all coming up for review. Now, so for this, there's a dynamic dance happening we've been talking about, that first the sun has just coming out of its square with Chiron. Now Mercury is going to be in exact square with Chiron for this full moon, bringing up all these issues of where we haven't been living our life. And we've been living the lies and the delusions of other people's lives and harmonizing down in order to get put up to get along, and it's no longer working for us. And with this incredible surge of energy, and this is happening through the end of July, it's this feeling of like, grab a hold of it, take the leap, do it now. You got a chance. That timeline is coming in close, but then there's that feeling of just being suspended, of being the fool, being like, hanging on by a thread or by one finger, in between realities, not knowing who you are and where you're going, what we're doing. This is just the story right now. So Mercury in Cancer exactly square Chiron for this full moon. And it's just bringing tension around where we have continued to play small in our thinking and the programming that has kept us from accessing our power. Now, Pluto is our relationship to our psychic power. It's our fear of our psychic power, and it's the unknown of our psychic power. And so Pluto in your birth chart will show you a dynamic of why you haven't come into your bigger truth. You know, what's really scaring you. You know, like, how did you get so scared of your power, and how to undo that? So Pluto in Capricorn is authority structures and just structures of physical reality. So it's like literally contractual arrangements where we said, hey, we agreed. We had to do it. We had to agree to disconnect and forget who we are in order to play this whole game and experiment as advanced souls. We agreed to do that. And now it's time to reevaluate these commitments, right? Reevaluate, because we actually didn't come here just to play small and stay stuck in the prison planet. No. And so here we are in between realities and being asked to make this leap. And it's incredibly beautiful and exciting and incredibly uncomfortable and unknown. And that's just kind of part of this understanding that leaps and bounds are required because we've been so far off this timeline, but it's careening into our reality. And once you establish more in that vibrational frequency, that's the definition of a timeline, then you can maintain that vibrational frequency easier and easier and own that for yourself. Now you're going to go talk to that old friend that's going to bring you down a few notches. No, can't do that right now. Can't do it. Preserve and contain your energy. Coming back to what we first talked about. So much of this astrology is about, hey, you were given these gifts to contain them and own them and use them. You are the one who has the rightful access to the source energy that's available in your very own body. And what are you going to do? How are you going to honor? Can you handle that level of responsibility? Can you honor life and start living in accordance? Moment to moment, right? Not just getting through, not pushing through, not frantic, not got to do this so I can do this. No, I'm right here, right now. No more wasted moments, no more wasted days. And so this astrology is asking us to have this lining up, because what's going on with Mercury catching up to the sun is that first they each have right now taking turns squaring Chiron, then sextiling Uranus, which is a beautiful creative solutions of activated physical form. This is like a big period of time. The next couple of months are about supporting our physical body and making the changes to adjust to the activating energies. Because Uranus there, and then sextile, each of them making a sextile to the North Node. And so Mercury and the sun, and Mercury catching up to the sun, Mercury's like, hey, wait a minute, we need a powwow, because shit is weird right now, right? Like, let's come together, let's sort this out and see what's really going on. But that Mercury coming up to the sun over this week after the full moon it's linking together the energies of Uranus and the North Node for their epic conjunction that happens at the beginning. It starts at the end of July and goes through the first week of August into the second week of August. Then Mars comes into the mix. And Mars Uranus North Node activation is peaking out on the 2nd of August. So we're like incremental increasing of energy in a big kind of balloon with this full moon, of course, leading up to there's a Leo new moon at the end of July, and that will be kind of a new start on this new timeline. So what is that saying? For supernova souls, it's time to shine your light. It's time to show who you are. It's time to come forward with your gifts. The new timeline is about you receiving your wealth and getting on that vibrational frequency and claiming that for yourself, no matter what anybody else around you says. You are a leader here to lead the way. So you cannot go there's definitely a period of time in the journey where you cannot go to outside help. You've got to open up to this true one intuitive voice. Now, this is the point of the intuitive training. What has been shown to me, the most important skills for the supernova soul. Intuitive training will be starting a live class again at the end of September. So consider that. Learning psychic boundaries, uncovering the gifts of who you are, and getting more comfortable with this beautiful advanced technology, higher intuitive ability, Kundalini activation, whatever you want to call it, light body. We're removing all the fear programming and obstacles, all the karmic contractual arrangements, working level by level of consciousness according to the chakra system. So very powerful intuitive training to help you uncover and prepare and hold your space, those psychic boundaries, to be able to really contain that energy and get on with what you came here to do. This is the message now. And this is very powerful for this full moon because like I talked about, the sun is coming into a sextile relationship with Uranus and then the North Node, and we'll be feeling that for this full moon. And then the moon will be opposite. The moon in Capricorn will be in a sextile relationship to the South Node and a trine relationship to the North Node. Yeah. And so these sextiles and trine relationship is a really sweet, dynamic, supportive, like give a little, get a little, harmonize a little, move a little, get a little, move. It's like that picture of the gears on the watch finally lining up. And so that's really powerful. And also the sun and the moon. So the sun and the moon's relationship to the nodes is very important because the sun and the moon will be at 21 degrees Cancer and Capricorn. The nodes of the moon in this, the North Node at 20, just moved to 20 degrees Taurus. So a very sweet earth energy, earth and water, harmonizing and healing and embodying energies. But the relationship to the nodes says that we're trying to line up, we're activating with Uranus involved, and we're trying to get going on the future. But every time you do that, this is the deal with the nodes. You can't do one without the other. You're like moving and aligning in this activated future. What's holding us back from the past? And that's the South Node in Scorpio. So it's about secrets and hidden stuff. Mysteries, lies, deception, hidden parts of ourselves, deep mysteries. If they remain hidden, we can't fully come in, and do it. So there's definitely, we're still in this, and especially the Cancer energy, moving the grief, moving the emotions, and allowing, giving ourselves the space and support to face these dynamic energies that are coming up from the past and repeating and playing so that we can completely be free of them, and coming back to that Capricorn energy, the opportunity to break contracts that are not in alignment with our expansion and our highest vibrational energy right now. We can't have the arguing energies, And so the other thing that's really speaking to this new timeline and manifested reality is the fact that for this full moon, the moon in Capricorn will be just one sign over. This is a semi-sextile from Saturn in Aquarius. And so this full moon in Capricorn, Saturn, Aquarius, and then there's an inconjunct relationship between the sun and Saturn, meaning the sun is across the way and one sign over, as Leo is the opposite of Aquarius and then one sign over in Cancer. So the inconjunct and semi-sextile is also very dynamic, and it's about like a ladder. There's a picture of climbing a ladder and taking each step, harmonizing, getting used to the new energy, taking the next step. And this semi-sextile inconjunct relationship, inconjunct says there's something that needs to be adjusted. And so that would be the sun in an inconjunct relationship to Saturn. So what needs to be adjusted for our new reality and our new timeline? A more compassionate heart and valuing compassion and love and growth and nature. Huge, huge therapeutic opportunities in nature right now. And so the Saturn in Aquarius is retrograde and it's just gone back to 20 degrees. So it's kind of like going, okay, we're trying to build and create in these new energies, but what do we really need to do? And so we've got this message around compassionate thinking. And then the semi-sextile is like the next sign over. So that's the moon in a semi-sextile to Saturn. And that's about, hey, let's work together across the divide. And so the Capricorn energy of breaking down the old structures so we can build something new. And those old structures seem to have a lot to do with relationships, ancestry, and pattern, those types of patterns. Wherever we've given away our power in order to survive, said, oh, well, because as humans, we need to be, if we don't, the animal kingdom, the mammals need their tribe or they can't survive. When you're exiled from the clan, you have to, it's just like you might not make it, right? And so as humans, we're continually in this situation that in order to survive and have what we need, we got to give up our power. We got to give up our freedom. We got to go along with the other energies. Now, supernova souls are such accommodator souls, right? You're going to say yes, and you're going to try to make it work for everybody. And it's not a time for that right now. These contracts can be tricky because it can be people you feel responsible for spiritually. And they're like, wait a minute, you got to take me with. And you're like, it was appropriate for me to have that level of relationship with you as a leader or spiritual teacher in the past lives. But this time it's not. We've got to go forward with our full autonomy. We can't have outside loyalties, or those are going to trip us up as we make the leap over into this new energy. But what we're finding is we find the strength and to face the fear programming and be present and receive our abundance, our vibrational abundance, uncover the gifts of our abundance, the vibration, the abundance of the natural, our manifest world around us. We're doing the work that we need to do to receive our greater path and purpose and harmonizing into this new timeline. And so know that there's required leaps and bounds and lots of unknown in between those places because it's a long way between where you've been and where you're going. But like the staircase, the 90-degree angle has an energy of raising consciousness. It's like represents a dimensional shift from one direction to another direction, new plane. And that ladder energy is kind of like go up, 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 rest and recover, go up, up, up. So maybe that can help. Like, okay, I'm present, I'm showing up, I'm going to make the leap. But I'm also going to have that self-care and compassion with the Sun and Mercury coming together here. Our only way forward with that North Node in Taurus and Uranus and Taurus is to, yes, activate into these higher frequency vibrations on a cellular level, but massive, radical, compassionate self-care in order to support ourselves in these times. And lots of time, we're coming together, we're forging these pathways back together, but it's also a time where we need a lot of processing time and time to ourselves right now as we adjust to these changes. And make sure that you choose that over those well-meaning people that would like to keep you in your lane. Because you can't waste your time there right now. So be precious and loving to yourself in this beautiful abundance and this containment of your energy, and just a lot of energy around rest when you can rest, move when you can move, and just keep breathing, keep loving, keep being compassionate with yourself and others, because so much is shifting so fast. You could have this huge problem come up, and the problem is going to be something that's similar to something you've gone through in the past, or with some person or a certain dynamic. It might be opposite, right? But it's like, oh my God, what do I do? But it's like because we're making big leaps and bounds, and because things are changing so rapidly, you're going to go through these squeezing times. But because the energy is moving, it's like, oh, this can shift in a magical way beyond what I could see is possible, right? So don't hold on. Just keep breathing and keep loving and keep being present as much as you can, and soak up the presence of the moment. The energies are so beautiful and expanding for us right now. The problem comes when we are not allowing that expansion, or we're limiting ourselves, or we're allowing other forces outside to limit ourselves. This next couple of weeks through the end of July, very crucial, because Jupiter turns retrograde at the end of July. So if you're wanting to make a move in a direction, this is a really good time to do it. Like that feeling, and I know it's bringing Aries energy, always brings some anxiety and patience, of feeling like you don't have enough time, you got to do it right now. And I think that's what we're feeling with this, like, it's coming, got to take the leap, I got to get it, I can't miss it. I missed, FOMO, which fear of missing out, and these missed opportunities. But maybe that's just evidence that we are in a very dynamic time. And, by breathing and living and loving and in presence, then we can more and more be at the right place at the right time, so that leap can be more harmonized and not quite as far, and maybe not quite as unknown. Although here we are. It's like the Fool card in the Tarot. It's the 0 point. The Fool card travels light, with just a little light knapsack that he can carry. He's got his animal friend, trusting in the compassionate nature of the world, that he can go off that cliff and something will catch him. Kind of hard after being so beaten down in this reality as a supernova soul over lifetimes, right? But we're doing it and we're here. And so thank you so much. And I hope you'll consider joining on Wednesday that full moon in Capricorn activation. The activations are guided meditations, but it's about a time to come together, use our energy, the capital of supernova souls coming together on the astral plane. We've created quite a beautiful field that grows energetically with each group time we come together. And so thank you so much for bringing your energy and bringing your offering and being a part of this experience. So I hope that I see you tomorrow on Wednesday for the full moon in Capricorn activation, or on the next update. Thank you so much for being with me, supernova souls. So much love to you. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.